It's dessert time. Oh yeah, something really cool today. Baked apple rings. I wanted apple, wanted something different. This is definitely different. It's cool, it's simple, and it is delicious. Well, let's get everything out and make it right now. 3 apples, that's what we're working with. For cinnamon sugar, a little bit of icing sugar to top it off, and some puff pastry. That's all the ingredients we need. So let's get this out of the way and work on our apples. So I've got this apple peeler core gadget and our 3 apples. So we'll get it out, put it together, get an apple, throw it right on the peeler core, ever so carefully so I don't peel or core in my hand. There. Now the idea is you spin it around and the blade comes out and okay, I spent 15 minutes trying to get this thing to work. Put it back in the box. You know what? I'll just do it manually. So here's our apples. I'll figure out the gadget sooner or later. And I'm going to carefully, without cutting my hand, core the apple. Well, it's always fun. You just got to be really careful. And little by little we get the top off and the bottom off and the core out. It's kind of hard to make apple rings with the core still attached. So you got a nice big hole in the middle. And we're going to need that when we wrap the puff pastry around. We've got them cored, so now the next fun step, grab my peeler and actually peel all the skin off the apples. Well, it's not super difficult. I mean, the only thing is I don't really have anywhere to put this stuff. We don't have a organic recycling yet. So it's kind of gone. But anyway, apple slices. I'm not sure how many I'm going to get out of the 3 apples, but we're going to find out. Now, one thing I learned real quick, you don't want them super thin. You want them a decent size. So maybe 4 would have been better. Because the thinner they are, the more likely you are to snap them in half, which isn't going to work. So I'm thinking 1/2 inch, maybe a little less. I was getting about 4 slices to an apple after the first one. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and I might be able to get 1 more, maybe, sort of. But anyway, now we need our cinnamon sugar, so it's real simple. Like a 1/4 cup of sugar and a good tablespoon of cinnamon. Maybe that's a 1/2 tablespoon. You don't need a lot of cinnamon. As much as you'd like to, and I love cinnamon, it's pretty strong stuff. So we mix it up just long enough to get it all combined, set it aside. Now here comes our puff pastry, the star of the show. We're going to lay it all out because we need to make dough strips. It comes apart fairly easy. It rolls out pretty simple. But you know, I didn't really use a whole lot. So I've got to make another dish with puff pastry down the road. So here's how I'm going to cut it. I've got my pizza cutter out. You can use a knife too. And I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I'm not really sure how thick I want them. I cut enough for I think I've got 14 pieces. Next time, I'm definitely going to make them a little thicker. You don't want them too wide because then you're going to have a problem wrapping them down the road, and you'll see. Too thin, well, you run into what I ran into, which is unless you really got the hang for it, which comes with everything I've ever done, you know, by the time you're done doing multiples, you get really good at it. Whether it's a dessert or like making meatballs, you know, it's always tough at the beginning, and by the end you kind of get the hang of what you're doing. You become maybe not an expert, but you get a lot quicker at it. So there's our strips. We'll put them aside. Now we're going to use this bowl of icing. We're going to use this bowl of cinnamon sugar. Here's one slice of apple. And then what we're going to do, real simple, get a piece of dough. And then we're going to wrap it. Little by little, you got to pull it through the center. And when you're done, and then you got to mesh the side apart, but when you're done, it should look something like that. Well, here we are on our last one, and I've gotten a little better at it over the 14 that I've done. So here it is. Slid it through, and I learned to wrap it a lot quicker. There's no real trick to it, except you gotta kind of start in the middle, I think is the best way to do it, the middle of the dough, and wrap it around both ways. Next step, small bowl, hunk of butter into the microwave, 30 seconds-ish, should melt her down pretty good. We'll bring out our apple rings, look at that. And basically we're just gonna brush the butter on top. I don't know for sure that that's absolutely necessary. It just gives another layer of flavor to it. And who doesn't like butter? Well, I'm sure there are people that don't. I love butter. And on top, we're going to sprinkle some more of our cinnamon sugar, just because. There you go. All right. Into the oven we're going to go 375 for 15 to 20 minutes. And look at that when they're out. Oh yeah. Well listen, they smell fantastic. And you're going to love this. The next move is we're just going to sprinkle some of the icing sugar on top. More for looks more than anything else. I mean, we've already got cinnamon sugar on it. You know, the white sugar kind of makes it look cool, I think. So we'll just carefully sprinkle a little pinch on each one. I guess it would be a little tedious if you're doing a lot more than what I did. Like I said, you don't have to. The last thing we got to do is get them on a tray because they're not staying here. Clean up everything, and there you have it. There is our baked apple rings. Simple and good. You're going to like it. Hey, another great recipe. I hope you'll give it a try. Leave me a comment below, one way or the other. Listen, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell because that'll tell you the next time I upload a video. Feel free to share this in any of my other videos. And thanks for stopping by and watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.